Hi, Sam Spernat here for TheInformer. Today on Property Matters, we're going to be talking about the state of the market, what's been happening and what we see happening moving forward and into next year. And really, it's been a very interesting year. It's not been like any other year that we've ever seen. We've had disruptions like we've never had before, but also we've got money cheaper than we've ever had before, now sitting at around 2% from a lot of the major banks. So what's actually been happening out there? Well, obviously, as a lot of people would know, there's been some great results for property. There's been some big numbers paid, but also we've probably got some of the lowest stock levels we've ever seen of available property in the market. And that's also one of the drivers. So what I'm kind of seeing and what I have been seeing and what we've been talking about with our customers is now is not the time to panic buy. But people are getting carried away. They're starting to think, well, hang on, if I don't buy that, I'm going to miss it. And FOMO's kicking in. And really that makes it for dangerous times to have that approach. You've got to keep your logic about you. You've got to keep on track and you've got to do your research. I've been talking to a lot of clients about this and that there is the value of what the property's worth and then obviously what you've got to pay to secure that property. And sometimes you've just got to pay a little bit more to get the right property than what it's worth. My concern is though, I start to see people paying well above and beyond the market value. And look, that's fine now while money's cheap, but what happens if that changes? Now, the RBA's come out and said that they're going to keep the interest rates relatively low for the foreseeable future, which gives people confidence about borrowing more and more and more. Now, that's fine if you can keep paying your mortgage off and get it under a manageable amount whilst interest rates are cheap. My concern is though, what happens if interest rates go up? What happens if we go back into lockdown again? There's all these variables. So one of the things I'm really hammering on with my client base is don't overextend yourself. Don't put your head over the barrel, as they say, because you never know when that trigger's going to be pulled. So if you are looking at buying a property, if you are thinking about buying a property, or even if you've just bought a property, make sure you know exactly what it's costing you, you know what your outgoings are, you know what you're going to be able to afford. And if you're looking at it and going, well, actually, I can't really afford this, maybe it's time to dispose of those assets. Now is not the time to panic buy, as I said. There are also a lot of people out there taking advantage of this situation. I've started to see the spruikers come out a bit more, pushing certain things that aren't necessarily great long-term investments, and they're using the market and its bit of build-up pressure to really push their products. What we offer is independent advice. We don't sell properties to our clients that we're being involved in. There's none of this, oh, well, look, here's one we prepared earlier for you. If you're speaking to people about advice and they're selling you a product, that's when you should get nervous because they're not really giving you independent advice. And at the moment, now more than ever, and you've seen it in our previous episodes about building your team, having your financial planner, having your accountant, having your finance broker, having your lawyer, now's the time to really build your independent team. Make sure that you've all got the same goal plan, everyone's on the same page, and that you're heading in the same direction. Because yes, buying and selling real estate at the moment, we've seen, as I said, some great prices, but the markets can change, they can fluctuate. We've seen some of the major banks go from predicting massive losses. I mean, ANZ came out during COVID and said they predicted a 15% drop in the market. They've now switched that to a 7.8% rise. So that's a 22.8% turnaround in under 6 months in their predictions. What does that tell you? Well, other than they've probably got no real idea, it tells you that there's a bit of change happening. And a changing market, whilst it brings opportunities to be successful, brings opportunities for you to make mistakes. So really, what I'm predicting is a bit more of the same. Look, we should still see good interest in the market. I'm not predicting a glut of properties coming on to depress values that way. But what you need to be aware of is that you need to do your research. You need to be aware of what you're looking at. You should be aware of what's sold recently around what you're looking at, and that will help you get an idea of what you should pay for that property. But don't panic buy. That's the biggest mistake you can make. Don't just buy something because it's there. Make sure it's the right asset for you, because the entry and exit costs into the market are very cost prohibitive with stamp duty, agents' fees, and even CGT liabilities if it's an investment. So getting it right the first time is the best step you can take. Moving into 2021, we'll probably see a bit more of the same. As I said, not predicting a glut of properties coming on. I'm not predicting any grand sweeping changes to the market, but what I am predicting is a bit more of the same. And that is when people will make mistakes. When they get comfortable, they think, oh, I'll just buy that, that'll do. Not the, well, that's actually what I want. I've worked with some clients when looking for homes for over 12 months to make sure they buy the right property. It is not something that should be rushed. If you are thinking of buying, if you're thinking of selling, or if you're thinking of doing anything in real estate, now is the time to speak to someone independent. As I said, build your team and use it. That is the best advice I can give to people at the moment. Don't rush in, as they say. Only fools rush in. I'm Sam Spernat for The Informer. This has been Property Matters and the State of the Market. Thank you.